Yes, the veil is torn, but you have to be humble in order to go into the Holy of Holies. I think we automatically think that we can just go in because the veil is torn, but I don't think that's the case. So I actually found the Day of Atonement in Song of Songs. Okay, I did another video that goes more in depth about this, but so we see her being called into Lebanon. Okay, Lebanon, it represents the temple, but it also represents like priestly things. So it says that her fragrance, the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. Okay. So this word garments in Hebrew is outer garments. Okay. So think of like the blue priestly robes that the high priest wore. So he calls her, she's with him, right? And then we keep going in chapter 5, and it says like I came into my garden, I gathered my myrrh. It's very intimate, talks about wine, like eat, friends, drink, and be drunk with love. So now it says that the bride is sleeping. Okay. And then her beloved comes knocking. He is basically calling her back out into the world. So this is a picture of her being in the Holy of Holies. I'm going to tell you why I think so, okay? It says, I had put off my garments. How could I put it on? I had bathed my feet. How could I soil them? So she's clean. She's resting. And the word for garments here is different. This is undergarments. But hold on a second. She says, I put off my garment. How could I put it on? She's naked. She's not wearing anything. She is fully her, resting with her beloved in this thing that I think is the Holy of Holies. Because if you look at the Day of Atonement, right, when the high priest went into the Holy of Holies, where the ark is, where the glory cloud came down upon, right, he had to wear these linen garments. So this is where the humble part comes in. Okay, we're in Leviticus 16, and the way this starts is honestly, it points more to how serious this is. Okay, the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they drew near before the Lord and died. And the Lord said to Moses, tell Aaron, your brother, not to come at any time into the holy place instead, or inside the veil, before the mercy seat that is on the ark, so that he may not die. Okay, so what's going on? Two of Aaron's sons died. They died going into the tabernacle. So there's incense, there's a menorah, right? There's things that needs fire. The fire needed to come from the outside bronze laver, right? Where the burnt offerings happened or where they made bread. So instead of those two brothers getting the fire from there, they brought strange fire in. There's strange fire also in like different areas of the Bible, but we're focusing on this part. So this is why they passed away. Now, there's more. The other two brothers are told to go in, to go get the dead sons' bodies, right, and drag them out. But also, Aaron is told not to grieve over his two sons. And it's interesting. We were just talking about Noah's Ark and how I do not believe that it's God's wrath. I believe that it's a cleansing. There's things put in place that God does that keeps others safe because he is so holy. For example, right? When Moses was put in the cleft of the rock and the Lord like showed him his hind parts to Moses, that's all he could see, because if he would have seen, if Moses got to see all of him, he would have died. Our bodies cannot handle him. That literally the new wineskins with the new wine connects to that. Okay, but so they weren't respecting God. They weren't treating him as he was holy. We also see this when it comes to Uzzah in the ark, right? Long story short, the way that they were transporting the ark was wrong. It wasn't supposed to be that way. The Levites were supposed to carry them on their shoulders. That's not what was happening. They had it on a cart with an ox. That's how people that weren't of God, so it was with other people. I forgot who it was, but it was like the Philistines or whoever it is. They were transporting it in a way that they weren't supposed to. And then the God's people were transported the same way they were. Does that make sense? I feel like I just horribly explained that. But anyways, because they weren't treating it as holy, Uzzah tried to like brace it because it was about to fall and he died. Not only that, right? Like Mary is a shadow of the ark. The Ark of the Covenant is a really, really big deal. Okay, so why am I saying all this? So in order to enter into the Holy of Holies, right? You had a bunch of steps that you had to do. One of the steps is to wear white linen, opposed to what the priests usually wore. It's very flashy. It's very, like a king, like someone really important would wear. So I think this linen and what happened to Aaron's two sons point to entering the Holy of Holies humbly. The Holy of Holies is where we want to be, right? Like we want to be as close as we can to the glory of God. So I think it's really important that we focus on that and we know how to enter. The rest of the story about the woman in Song of Songs is so good. Oh my goodness. I'm going to make a video right after this explaining that side of the story and more in depth. It connects to Moses when he was on Mount Sinai. But yeah, I hope you learned something new. I hope this made you want to go read his word. Like I'm telling you, it is so good. And hopefully, this will help you get closer to the Lord, humble yourself, and yeah,